Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling Review Series for the 16th of October 1993. Highlights from Raw the previous week had um, Razor Ramon beating Rick Martel. Of course, we'll cover that when we get to Raw. Tatanka and Mike Bell is up here. Obviously, not a super huge match, but Tatanka, I believe, still undefeated. Soon here to end that within the next month or two, I believe. Could be wrong on the timing of that, but needless to say, Tatanka sends Bell into the canvas, hits a couple of chops along the way, punch, kick, and Samoan drop. Finally gets the victory for Tatanka, and he is satisfied with that. Ludwig Borga shown from Raw challenging Tatanka as a undefeated talent, and he is unimpressed with Tatanka's history. Lex Luger makes his way out and is face to face with Borga. Wants to defeat him and get rid of him. The foreign fanatics and the All Americans. Hyped for the Survivor Series. Tatanka, the Steiner Brothers, and Lex Luger against the Quebecers. And Yokozuna. And Ludwig Borga. Borga comes back with a squash match. He also does go face to face with Tatanka in the locker room, setting up the Tatanka and Ludwig Borga match for the following week. Knees by Borga on the enhancement talent. Chokes him out and tries to get him up. Running uppercut and kind of a toss-up uppercut by Borga. Nothing to write home about, but still pretty aggressive and assertive in the way. Ultimately, Borga winning with the torture rack that Lex Luger used to use. Hype for Diesel in his Superstars debut in the weeks to come. Of course, Diesel generally having to wrestle more so because of the nature that is the suspension short term of Shawn Michaels for 6 to 8 weeks. Razor Ramon talks about wanting to challenge whomever. Then we see a vignette challenge with the Intercontinental Championship, that is. We see a vignette of Pat Tanaka, who has aligned with Mr. Fuji and Yokozuna, getting permission to go fight the 1-2-3 Kid. Tanaka, of course, having been in the WWF before, not necessarily needing the mentorship, but maybe as a single he does in somebody's mind somewhere, who knows. Anyway, 1-2-3 Kid, relatively new to the company, coming in about April or May. Jump back leg kick, and the Kid tosses himself as a lawn dart forward. Great match for the 1-2-3 Kid, and a match worth going out of your way to see if you haven't seen this before, just because the 1-2-3 Kid puts everything he has into it. 1-2-3 Kid, only having been there for 6 months, certainly could use a decisive win. Dives over the top with a crossbody to the outside on Tanaka and manages to do so quite well. You can see them having quite the conversation post the maneuver, as Kid probably worried about taking Tanaka out to a whole nother level without even necessarily meaning to. Then we see Tanaka slow the match down back in the ring. Kid eventually gets the cannonball moonsault for the win. And Survivor Series report, hype though it is. We're talking about the Hart family and Jerry Lawler's bunch of merrymakers. The Knights, as it were, although neither have been announced. We just have the announcement that the Harts and Lawler and his Knights will be doing battle at the Survivor Series. Amazing to me how many minutes are wasted on pay-per-view hype, and I say wasted because it's done weekly on every program. I understand logically that the hype needs to be done, but the amount of time put in just doesn't make sense. Owen Hart, in the nature of an enhancement match here, getting ready for Survivor Series 93, takes his opponent over in a couple of suplexes, followed by arm bars, arm locks, arm ringers, and a couple of drop kicks under the chin. Owen Hart had been with the WWF in 1991 as the Rocket, but about to get a major push. Drop kick from the top rope, and then Owen hits a leg drop among other things. Owen is super useful here, and again, the missile drop kick is what ultimately leads to a victory. We see the vignettes for Jeff Jarrett. These are worth going out of your way to see if you're a Jeff Jarrett fan, and even if you're not. Basically, he says that, in fact, the country music deal is his deal. Makes fun of Garth Brooks, makes fun of the politics of country music, and does the JEFF JARRETT standard of bearing. Johnny Polo in a polo sweater, oddly enough, with the Quebecers as their manager. And Quebecers are willing to and do take on the big, body slam and the like. I believe it almost looks like one of the enhancement guys borrowed Marty Jannetty's gear with the fluorescent pants the guy is wearing. Big body slam across the back or across the chest of one of the enhancement guys as Jacques slams Pierre. And we see a backdrop onto the guy as well, kind of there. Bit more battling and brawling. Certainly more brawling than average. And the cannonball by the Quebecers, obviously your multi-time tag team champions here. Hype for the upcoming SummerSlam, or Survivor Series. Also, we see Jim Cornette with the Heavenly Bodies, Jimmy Del Rey, and Dr. Tom Pritchard, talking about the upcoming challenge with the Rock and Roll Express for the first time in the WWF at the Survivor Series. Cornette basically says he's been chasing the Rock and Roll Express for 10 years, and he is tired of chasing them. He'll catch them and eliminate them at the Survivor Series, and the Rock and Roll Express, I believe, makes their debut next week. Kurt Hennig doing a video game commercial. Also interesting, but that will close this particular edition. We'll be back with more right after this.